Hey, future medics, it's me, Tina, your medic mentor. Today, we're going to talk about consent. It's going to be one of the first things you're going to go over in paramedic school. There are three main kinds: expressed, implied, and involuntary. So, expressed is the one that we deal with most often, and it is the patient says, yes, please help me. Yes, take me to the hospital. Or maybe they can't speak, maybe they're deaf, and they can sign to you, like, yes, please take me to the hospital. Yes, please help me. Or maybe they write it out for you. Maybe they type it on your iPad. In whatever way they can express themselves, they say, please help me. Please take me to the hospital. Please evaluate me. That is expressed consent. Number two, implied consent. That is when we act with a critical, an altered patient, an unconscious patient, where we know any reasonable person would want care. And we do this because not doing so could cost them their life, which is problematic. That's why we're there to help take care of these people. So I see this the most in really bad car accidents where I arrive on scene and someone is unconscious. They've sustained a large amount of trauma. They're not awake to give me expressed consent. But because of the situation they are in, we know that any reasonable person would say, yes, please take me to the hospital and get me evaluated. Or a loved one would be like, oh my God, please take my family member to the hospital. Because of that, these people fall under implied consent and we take them to the hospital to get them evaluated. Now, the third one is involuntary consent. Think of this with police officers who have a person in custody. Because they are in custody, the police officer is now in charge of them. So the patient might be saying, no, I'm fine, I don't need EMS, but the officer says, yes, you're going to let them evaluate you. Because they're in custody, the officer now has legal representation over them, so the officer gets to say what goes. We see this a lot with minors, right? You might have a 16-year-old that's like, no, mom, I'm fine, everything's okay. And the parents are like, no, she's gonna check you out and make sure, like, I don't want anything to happen to you, right? So the patient themselves said no, but the legal representative that they have says yes. Because that minor is not of age to consent or refuse for themselves, it falls under their legal guardian or their parents, whichever one they have. Who can consent to medical treatment? Adults. 18 years or older can consent for themselves and also for other people. If you have a minor, who can consent for them? Like maybe you have a 16-year-old who got into a car wreck leaving the high school. Who's going to consent to treatment for this child? Well, we can always call a parent. If they have an adult sibling, that sibling can consent. Relatives can. Obviously, any family members, mom, dad, legal guardian, all of those people who are over the age of 18, they're 18 or older, right? They're adults. But also school administrators, coaches, athletic trainers, they can also consent for these kids, and that's really important. At the beginning of the school year, parents often sign a stack of forms, and one of them gives the school permission to call an ambulance on behalf of these children if one is needed. Now, obviously, they're still going to call the parents. When I arrive at schools, parents have already been notified, of course, but the parents are not at the school. The principal is, the nurse is, the teachers are, right? So it gives them consent to call for an ambulance and allow me to transport and treat that child and meet the parent at the hospital. Now, also those coaches and athletic trainers, they're traveling with these kids. They're on buses, they're playing football, they're playing soccer, they're swimming, things like that. So they need to have permission. They have the same forms. They need to have permission to consent to treatment, evaluation, and possibly even transport if the bus gets into an accident or if the child gets hurt playing their sport. So those people you can also look to for consent. Now, here's what's really important. Consent can be revoked at any point in time. During treatment, halfway through transport, when you get to the hospital, any point in time. As long as that patient was able to consent for treatment by themselves and they're not under some type of involuntary treatment by legal authority, yes, you stop treatment and you stop transport because people are in charge of themselves. So remember, expressed, implied, involuntary. And now you know how all three of those can happen and who can consent. That is EMS 101. You'll see it time and time and again. But that's it. That's all. You got it knocked out. You're doing a good job. I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself right now. I'll see you soon.